Hello, all. It is me again, Mary Hanks, the Mahogany Poet. So today I am going a little off the cuff. I just came back from a morning walk and it is a Sunday morning. I wanted to actually record this a few days ago, but I didn't know where I wanted to read from. I thought maybe I would read a new poem from a new book. It's already been put on my spirit to write 4 books, and I have the title of all of those books. But recently I've had the opportunity to share the stage with my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter, who is becoming a poet in her own right. She's actually a poet because now she's a published poet, and she has several poems that I have seen, and I can't wait for the world to see because she is so gifted. And someone actually asked me the other day, was she more gifted than me? Was she better at writing her poems than I am? And my response was that she's better than me. So then the person says, do you say that because she's your daughter? And my response then was simply no. But on my walk this morning, I realized, you know what? And it's true. I don't say that because she's my daughter. I say that because she is talented in her own right. And I say that because she is her father's daughter. And by that, I mean she is her heavenly father's daughter. And he has gifted her with her own set of talents. And writing is one of them. Another one is that she opens my eyes to things in a way that I have not seen before. She ministers to my spirit, and I don't think she even knows it in her innocence. So she doesn't realize. But she sent me a playlist. It's not so much a playlist. She sent me an album because she knows I like listening to gospel music. So when she finds music, she'll send to me if she thinks I would enjoy it. And Glory Hour by Victory Boyd. I don't know if you've listened to it or not, but I love the entire album. And I love it because she is a poet. And in listening to her and in listening to some of the artists, not just in gospel music, but in the music industry, and listening to some of the artists that I choose to listen to and that I've listened to my entire life, because I have been one who has liked all genres, or most, not all, most genres of music. I've always been attracted to the lyrics, and it makes sense to me now at 53 that I finally put this together. I think it was because when I learned that the Bible has so many poems weaved throughout it, it made me feel blessed that the Lord had given me one of the ability to write is one of my talents. But also, people will say they don't like poetry, or I don't know if I'm into to reading poetry. But then I was like, well, if you listen to music, and if you're knowing the words to the music, then music is just poetry in motion. Is poetry to music, right? But for me anyway, Victory Boyd and Glory Hour, and maybe it's because she actually speaks the words and not just sings the words on her album. Maybe that's part of the reason why she just tied it all together for me. And her words are so beautifully written and spoken. It just brings joy to my spirit every time I listen to her. So if you haven't, then hey, give her a try and see if you like it. But Just Like It Is in Heaven is one of the songs that I've had just on replay because just like it is in heaven, I feel is how we should be moving around as we walk here. And I've been thinking about my children here recently, both of them, my son, because he's graduating tomorrow. He's graduating from the University of Alabama at Huntsville, or in Huntsville, as some people say. And, I made a choice when my children grew up that, I had done most of the work of raising them that I could do on my end. As parents, we had done what we could do on our end. But for me, I was like, Lord, I'm giving them back to you. He's had them the entire time. But now, these are your children. Watch over them. Take care of them. Because just as it is, let your will be done on earth with your children just as it is in heaven. I want you to take care of them. I want you to walk with them. I want you to go with them. I want you to protect them. I want you to rain your tender mercies on them, to have your hedge of protection around them, to hide them in your pavilion, all the things, to set them up upon a rock. I want you to do all the things on earth just as it is in heaven, Father. I want you to just keep them and go with them. And I know that He will do what He says He will do. And my job is to make sure that they know who He is, and that they honor Him, and that they seek His face, and that they learn His ways, and that they know to call on Him. So I'm just excited right now because, especially with my daughter, because, she and I are going on a joint venture. And I'm excited to share that as well, because as I was cleaning my house yesterday, it came, this title for a new book came to me, and I was like, but I'm only writing for a book, so I don't have room, and I have all the titles for my books in my head, so I don't know where this is coming from. And it was coming from a place where it's a joint venture for me and my daughter to write together. And when I tell you, she was so with it and so excited. And she's actually writing the preface for us. And something that she wrote that I will not share. We will wait until it comes out. But I was like, yes. Writing poetry is that. Writing poetry for me, and I think for many poets, maybe not all, there is something spiritual about writing poetry for me. The only way that I could have published this book, even if people don't want to put it on their shelves, even if people never want to hear it, because it is not mainstream, it is not secular, that's fine. It will find its way to where it needs to go, and it will find its place in the hands of the people that it needs to be in, because it is divinely inspired. Although there are poems that will be in all of my books that are personal and that are me, many of them actually honor and look back to recognize, acknowledge the presence of the Lord in my life, and how He has been instrumental in my life, and how I see things, and how I think that we should maneuver through this life to get the best possible outcome, if we remember why we're here, why we came here, and that we are not here of our own volition. We are not here to serve our own selfish purposes, but we seem to forget that as soon as we get here, and it seems to be just implanted in us and fed to us over and over again, that I'm here to get all I can get while I'm here, and to pass it on from generation to generation. Even though Solomon wrote a book or two about how it's all vanity. But I'm not here to talk about that either. That's a whole nother other. I want to read 2 poems today. No Time to Be Quiet and Not Forsaken. And as I read them, I will give commentary. I'll start with No Time to Be Quiet. And again, these poems can be found in the book God Lifted Me by yours truly. No Time to Be Quiet. The shy, silent type, all my life polite. Plenty I could have said, but my tongue I learned to bite. Don't rumple any feathers or bother to rock the boat. Voice another's opinion, then you become the scapegoat. Don't start a disagreement. Learn to go with the flow. Everyone waiting for yes, but learning it's okay to say no. Don't start a disagreement. Learn to, I read that already. Don't start a conflict. Be seen as the angry other. A label you won't shake. Over your head, it will forever hover. The practice of staying silent, never perfected by me truly. Language is my lover. Words my constant companion, you see. Foolish to think that somehow they would not fall from my lips in time, or randomly land on a blank page. My pen with ink still drips with rhyme. I've loved the flow of words since my youth and the power of their force. The strength that they give to a young child who has not yet found their voice. The joy of learning to read fuels my success throughout this life of mine. My plea to all mothers is gift your child with a love for reading. Make the time. I am finding that I am at my very best and can rest when I use the power of words to express the heavy burdens that exist deep within my chest. I want to keep them all to myself, for who cares what I believe? Remain a silent player in the game of life, but then they will not achieve. Something or someone is telling me to create within them a love affair, like I have with words. But can I take you there? Do I dare? With words in my head, written on a page, or falling sweetly from my tongue, can we honor our elders and uplift our young? Who knows the answer? Nor you, nor I, yet. My soul implores me. This is no time to be quiet. Words fall from the tongue, a double-edged sword. Words, how we use them, how we choose to use them. We can use them to uplift, or we can use them to tear down. Words. Can we read them? Can we only recite someone else's? Someone else's words becomes our beliefs, our belief system. We don't know what we believe because we just grew up believing what somebody else told me. Because I never took the time to learn how to decipher, discern words on my own. So for me then, No Time to Be Quiet represents so much for me because, you know, I could put in this first book out and every book that I will put out here heretofore. It is my pouring out my thoughts and my expressions and what I think and what I believe. These are no one else's thoughts, no one else's beliefs. They're mine. And it is imperative that your thoughts, your expressions are yours, and that you don't allow people to use you to be a scapegoat. You become the face of someone else's beliefs and someone else's thoughts. I hope that we are teaching our young people, especially as we sit here and we are in a season of graduation. We're in a season of commencement. They call it commencement, beginning. We're coming to the end of something, but we're never at the end. We're always starting over. We're always reinventing. We're always reviving. We're always creating, or we're stagnant. We're stuck. We're dead. We choose not to live. We choose to just be satisfied in our state, whatever that state is. I would hope that we are teaching our young people the ability to not just listen to what they hear and what they see, be it on social media, on TV, or even in their own circles. I try to teach my children, don't just take my word for things. You need to research. You need to, they're old enough now to be able to go out and find information. And they know what a reliable source is. And you need to know how to discern some things. When they were little, yes, I was pouring into them. But now that they're older, because who knows when I'm going to check out of here. Now that they're older, they should be able to stand on their own 2 feet and figure out some things. Now our relationship is one where we sit down, we have a conversation, and we can agree on some things, and we may agree to disagree on some things. But at this point in time, we all know what's right and what's wrong, because we try things by one thing. You try the spirit by the spirit. There's one word, and it tells you what is right and what is wrong. But when we're talking about, what's factual and what's not factual, living in the realm of the world that we live in, there are ways where you can find out what's truth and what's not truth. But for me, it is imperative for me that these words are put out. And you know what? The crazy thing is, it's not even because Mary said so, because Mary wanted to do so, because Mary would have been quite content to just sit here and write her poems and put them in a shelf, in a binder, and put them on the shelf and pull them down and read them every now and then. But I was given a job to do. I was given a purpose to complete and to see through. And I hope then that these words that I share, that these videos that I post, that they reach whoever they're supposed to reach. And that you understand that you too have a purpose, that you too have a call, that you too are not here just breathing air and just wasting space, and that you're not here just to collect all the treasures that you can bind up on earth and keep them here. But your life touches not just you and your immediate family, but you're here touching somebody else. And I hope that you can just be still and hear and listen and not talk out of turn. But when you are supposed to speak, you will know. And you only speak to those things that you know about. And if you don't know, then there is a time to be quiet. Believe me, there's a time for you to keep your mouth shut and be quiet and not say anything, because we need to be sensitive to those times as well. The second poem I want to read is Not Forsaken. I have been young and now I am old. I understand the prophecy which David foretold. No food on the table, no gas in the tank, yet never without. Only God to thank. Miracles never ceasing to find me in times of need. For those who are seeking, listen and take heed. Too youthful to know how to praise in my spirit. Not listening to elders. No room in my heart to hear it. Knowing from when I was a little girl, I wasn't as others that existed in this world. Protecting and guiding me through the ditches. Helping me bat home runs at life's fastball pitches. Clueless about the source of my victory. Vain in believing it was me, but that's history. Now, not until I was living life in constant reaction did I realize it was time to make a retraction. In the presence of my enemies, victory was won, cup spilling over. What's going on? I'm not doing any special living, but God has been blessing me, giving. All the earthquakes that should have had me shaken. Never once in my life was I left alone, forsaken. Foolish taking the accolades, believing the hype and the praise. Dear God, is all you. To the hills, mine eyes I raise. Giving credit where credit is due. This semester has been one of, it has been busy. It has had its stresses. It has come and gone so quickly. Even though while I was in it, it seemed like it was moving slowly. But it has had so many blessings in it because I chose to walk in obedience in the road, especially on my career path, right? I chose to do the things that I thought were what I was supposed to do. As far as moving things along. Even the things that were, I could have taken a different route. I could have taken the easy way out. I could have said no to some things. I could have just gone with flow. Sometimes doing what's easy and expedient is not doing what you are supposed to do. And again, just being sensitive to your life calling, being sensitive to your path. And for me, it is about lifting my eyes up to the hills because I know where my help comes from. And it's about constantly just being in contact with him and asking him, what is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this where you want me to go this time? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do it this way? The Lord knows my heart, and he knows that I have a love in my heart for people. He also knows that I have a low tolerance for tomfoolery. He doesn't care about that. He didn't care about me and my low tolerance. He cares that I have a purpose and I have a work to do. That he has something that he wants to accomplish through me. And either I'm going to do it or I'm going to wish I had done it. One or the other. And so I choose to be obedient in those areas because, look, I have never been forsaken. I have never begged bread. He has taken care of me and my family. I have 2 children in college at the same time. And I remember going through that process, especially when BJ was about to start. And I remember thinking, because we all have bills and things that we have to pay. Mortgages and car notes and insurance and just daily bills. And I remember thinking, how these numbers going to work out when we're going to send this kid to to a university that it ain't free, and it just all worked out. And then I remember when the second one needed to go to college, and having those same, yeah, it was worry at the time, because I had not learned my lesson, where when you belong to the Lord, there is no need to worry. It is human nature, I feel like, to worry about things. But when you belong to Him, you wasting your time worrying. You can be somewhere asleep. You can be somewhere doing something else. What you worry for? Because He already told you that you just do the things that He told you to do, and He will seek ye first. And all other things. So if you do what you're supposed to do, all the other things, you ain't gonna be. He will not forsake you. He will not forsake you. And so as I go to prepare for tomorrow to watch my son graduate from college, and it is in the back of my mind, to think about, well, now we're gonna graduate, but what are we gonna do? How we're gonna get a job? We're gonna do what is what? The author and finisher of our faith has already planned out. It's already done. It is done. I have no need to worry about where we're going to work, how we're going to work. And it's not a we, it's a he. Because he has to build his own relationship, and he has to walk his own path. And as long as he is good, then God's got him. Just like He has walked with me all my life. And He walked with me in my early teens. My late teens. He's walked with me all my life. But in my late teens and my 20s, when I was trying to figure out and didn't know what I was doing, He walked with me until I had sense enough to figure out how to finally walk the walk that I was supposed to be walking. And I see the talents that He has given to my children. I see talents that He has given to other people. And I sit back and I watch, and I wonder, when are they going to see what I see? But here's the thing. I know there were people who sat back and saw the same things in me. And they watched, and they wondered, when is she going to get it? When is she going to get her act together? I know that the Lord Himself, He watches us, and He patiently waits for those who are the called, for those who are His. He knows that eventually we're going to get it. So I say to you, if you see your children, someone else's children, who need to be lifted up, who need to be encouraged, who need to run this race, but they don't know how, this is no time to be quiet. They need to know that they will not be forsaken. Because there's someone on their side who will help them, but they need to hear it. They need to see it. They need to feel it through those of us who call ourselves Christians. Those of us who say that we are followers of the Christ. And we do not always do a great job showing. We pay lip service. We can quote scripture. We can send them to a YouTube channel. We can send them to social media platforms. We can tell them, go listen to this preacher, that. But when it comes to what they see every day in front of their face, which is what matters to them the most, we don't do the best job of giving them an example of, this is how you walk it out. This is how you play this out. I am your example. of how we're going to make this thing work. I am someone you can come and talk to, and I can send you to the one. I can help you navigate this path. You know, we can navigate it together. I can watch the videos with you. I can go and talk to the preacher with you. I can, you know, until they can do it on their own. I am joyful for everyone who is graduating from all levels. That means that you're moving on. You're moving on to a new beginning. I am in prayer for them. I hope that you are too. I pray that you will use your education and not just, we got the degree and now we're done. No, this is commencement. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. You're just starting something, and you're starting to be better. You're starting to go and do more because you have more knowledge, or at least you should have more knowledge. And if you don't, then it's not too late. We need to get with it, because you're living in a world where you're going to need some knowledge in order to be all that it is that you were meant and created to be. With that said, I'm going to end this video, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Again, congratulations to all the graduates, all the way from the little pre-Kers that moved up to kindergarten, if you had graduation, all the way to the doctoral candidates that are moving on, and everybody in between. Congrats, and celebrate. And I can't wait to hear about, to see, to read about all the positive next steps we are going to take. Until next time, this has been Mary Hanks, the Mahogany Poet.